you know. In the year 1958, June 17th, a man called Chinolumogo Achebe wrote and he said, "The Europeans came, used the knife and cut what held us together, and things fall apart." I submit to you today, 2025, things still fall apart. In the year 1986, a man called Anibola Fela Kuti sang a song and he said, "Teacher, don't teach me nonsense."
He was used to destroy his own. They look at the wealth of the place and they tried to destroy the very person that was promoting Africa, building for Africa. His name was Muammar Gaddafi, and his name was Barack Obama.
Welcome to GhanaPlusTv, the digital heartbeat of Africans' truth. This is more than a channel. It is a movement. A space where African stories are told by African voice. Raw, rare, and unapologetic. From culture to current affairs. From untold story to breaking news. We bring you the narrative that matters. The ones mainstream media skips. The one that shapes our identity, our power, our future. If you are looking for truth, pride, and perspective, you are in a right place. Subscribe, like, share, and stay connected. Let's own our story together.
He was used to destroy his own. They look at the wealth of the place and they tried to destroy the very person that was promoting Africa, building for Africa. His name was Muammar Gaddafi, and his name was Barack Obama. How many of you remember the handshake between Barack Obama and Muammar Gaddafi? How many of you remember the laugh and the burst out joy from the Secretary of State at that time, Hillary Clinton? Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. Here, we discuss Africa. When I present facts, I present news, read between the lines. Some of them are the thought of the mind of the perpetrators of actions. I read out loud what is written or what is intentions of conversations are. Because I want us to think. Without thinking, if we are just reactional being, we won't be able to build Africa. Years ago, a black man was used to destroy a country in Africa. Today, another black man is going through the same route. Several African countries are currently experiencing armed conflicts. And these include Sudan. Civil war is ongoing between Sudanese military and the paramilitary rapid support force. Ethiopia. Conflict, particularly in the Tigray region, has resulted in significant casualties. Nigeria. The terrorist insurgency primarily in the northern part of Nigeria and other area is such a conflict and displacement of human beings. A lot of things are being done in Nigeria to destabilize the country. Burkina Faso is on the rise of the highest intense conflict. And then we have the Central African Republic, has been embroiled by conflict for several years. Democratic Republic of Congo. And we also have on the list Mali, South Sudan, Cameroon, Somalia. And the list continue on and on.
Everyone knows, bro.
That is why African Human Development Initiative
Yes, that's the problem.
will be launched. Because all this boils down to human capacity development. There's no amount of money you want to pour into building structures if the human that live in all these places are not empowered. There is little we can do. Africa is not poor. I want to say that again. Africa is not poor because it lacks resources. Africa is not going through armed conflict because it lacks resources. It is poor because it has not fully developed and mobilized its greatest asset, its people. That is why Africa human capacity development is going through a program that will help every country in Africa to develop its people. We want to pour knowledge, purpose, patriotism, productivity to grow our people, because that is the only difference between Africa and the rest of the world. We only have a handful of people, somebody like Captain Ibrahim Traoré. A lot of people don't know this about Captain Ibrahim Traoré.
Yes.
Just like they don't know about Muammar Gaddafi. Before Captain Ibrahim Traoré became a military president, he was an active activist. He was an active activist. So when you see him putting on the soldier uniform, the military uniform, this is just an activist in a uniform. And that is what General Michael didn't understand. And this is the same thing a lot of people don't understand. This guy didn't just wake up to aspire to become a soldier. First off, he has the heart of his people.
Guy is always making points.
His mind was developed. And he kept on growing on that mind development, transferring the same to the people. Like Thomas Sankara and the rest. What we need heavily in Africa right now is human capacity development. Do you know why? Because blacks are being used against blacks to destroy blacks. The terrorists we have all over Africa, most of them are blacks. They are Africans. Africa that ought to protect Africa are being used to also destroy Africa because they don't understand that they are co-owners. After 60 years of independence,
I really love this guy.
and even some part of Africa is not colonized. But what have we done with human capacity development? What have we done with the people in Africa? What have we done with our mindset? What have we done with our values? What have we done with our thinking? What have we done? It is not just enough to get degrees. It is time to give our people a sense of direction, purpose, patriotic mindset, productivity mindset. What we need in Africa currently is not Western education. It's the reassessment of every individual that lives in the continent of Africa. A time is coming where we no longer have to depend on Western media to tell us, like they did in the time of Muammar Gaddafi, try to tell us what Gaddafi was doing. Try to interpret our own leader to us what the leader was doing. Meanwhile, in today's generation, we have a lot of leaders who are not supposed to be in position of power, but the West is not saying anything about that. But if anyone rises to say, this is the direction we need to go to break up from the system that has kept us where we are, they fight against such individual. But meanwhile, in the West, in America, in Europe, in Asia, all over the world, they raise the best of the best to lead them. Why can't we do the same in Africa? Why must we depend on the rest of the world to choose for us our leaders. It is time for us to stand our ground and multiply, have a multiply effect. We can multiply Captain Ibrahim Traoré. We can multiply Dr. Amos Thomas in Africa. We can multiply Thomas Sankara in Africa. We can multiply Mama Gaddafi in Africa. We can multiply Lumumba in Africa. We can multiply a lot of great minds in Africa by having one vision. But this is going to happen through intensive training. If you are in support of human capacity development, I want you to share this video. I want you to leave me a comment in the comment section. If you want to be part of this movement, we're not just going to talk and do nothing on the physical. We want to talk, we want to invest. If you are ready to be part of this movement, share this video, send me a DM, follow this immediately. I wonder why a lot of us, thousands of us, will listen to a video like this, listen to a message like this, and we will not follow. And for those of you that have been following, you know what you are getting here is about Africa development. I don't just break news. I am here for training, real business to make Africa great, because I believe in Africa. If you believe in Africa, I want you to follow, and I want you to subscribe, and then spread this message. Africa must be great. We must stop our brothers' betrayal. We must stop killing in Africa. We must stop destroying our Africa. It is time to take Africa to the next dimension. I believe in Africa, and Africa must work for every single one of us. God bless you.
All right, guys, let me take you a few seconds down memory lane. You know, in the year 1958, June 17th, a man called Chinolomogo Achebe wrote, and he said, "The Europeans came, used the knife and cut what held us together, and things fall apart." I submit to you today, 2025, things still fall apart. In the year 1986, a man called Anibola Fela Kuti sang a song, and he said, "Teacher, don't teach me nonsense." The truth of the matter is that they have taught us nonsense a very long time. The hour is now for us to say enough is enough. When a slave master, when you want to capture a person, first of all, what you will have to do is create enmity between him and his people. The moment you create enmity between him and his people, you have achieved the person. So these people came and created enmity between we and our people, and they achieved. So until you realize yourself, you continue to be a slave to your master. Otherwise, anything your person say or your people say remains void and not. How did they talk for English again? No, void and null and void. I've been a void and null. I've been waiting they call them for English. I don't want to know. If you say an Igbo now, I say So until you realize yourself, awaken your mind. Bob Marley sang in a song, 1980, redemption song. He said, "Only but us can redeem ourselves from this mental slavery." 1980. Africans, you need to be wise. Rise. Okay, guys, listen to me very attentively. Do not get me wrong. But if you want to get me wrong, there is no problem. Those who want to get me right will get me right. It is not an error to spend 23 years of your life in school, depending on the course you studied in university. Some courses in university are above 4 years, 5 years, and that is if you don't include the pursuit of master's degree. But let me bench it on 23, from nursery school to university to youth service. 23 years of your life spent in school. It's not an error, but it is an error to spend 23 years of your life in school, and then after schooling you come out and cannot produce or invent anything in line with what you studied. For instance, those who studied mechanical engineering cannot produce common carburetor. Those who studied pharmacy cannot produce drugs. Those who studied electrical engineering cannot produce cable. And those who are considered best science students cannot invent the computer with which they became best science students on. It is an error to spend 23 years of your life in school. When you come outside, you still pick pen and paper to begin to beg for a job from somebody who did not go to university. It is an error to spend 23 years of your life in school, and then when you come out, you are only identified as a good English-speaking student. He speaks good English. It is an error. It is an error to spend 23 good years of your life in school, and then your purpose is to come out and become a public thief, otherwise known as politician. It is an error to spend 23 years of your life in school, and then when you come out, you want to go to other civilizations to go and seek employment where you'll be paying 30 pounds per hour. It is an error. I know some people here will say, so if it's an error, then why are you speaking English? Little did you know that English is not my language. It's another man's language imposed on us to be spoken. For instance, if you want to teach yourself with the fact that even in Europe, the Portuguese do not speak English. The Dutch, the Germans do not speak English. The French do not speak English. So if English is a compulsory thing, why are their neighbors not speaking the language? Advise yourself on that. And now I begin to tell Africans, until Africa realizes her potentials, realizing who they are and what they are, we will continue to be where we are. Because why? Those people who invented the Chinese, the Japanese, the Singaporeans, the Indians, the Vietnamese, who invented all these things that we are using or studying in school today, did not learn them in school. It was a craft. When we are small, in primary school, we used to do local craft. Now those things are no more. We used to know about technical schools in Africa. Those things are no more. It is only in technical school and in local crafting that you will develop the brain of a child into inventing or producing something that will grow the economy of a country. Africans, let us realize our potentials. Let us begin to behave like the Chinese. I remember back in the years when you speak Chinese, we laugh at you. But today people go to university to go and study Chinese language because China has realized her potentials. Those days, when somebody is say, go to India, you go to India to do juju. That's why you. But today now, all of us that want to go to India because why? India realized their potentials. So until Africa realizes her potentials, we'll continue to be where we are. Let us grow. Politicians develop Africa through when I respect myself. Bring back technical schools. Simple. Okay, now me thank you back. And I know say my talk they pain some people and it is sweet some people. For those of you where the talk they pain, it no concern me because I am not the first person who began this race. Baba Fela them they don't do you understand? And Nnamdi Azikiwe with them. As far as Africa is concerned, Kwame Nkrumah they don't do Thomas Sankara they don't do Patrice Emery Lumumba they don't do Sylvanus Olympios they don't do Ahmed Bembela, Amilcar Gabriel, Samora Moses Michel they don't do all these people. Julius Kambaraki Nyerere, they don't do Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi, they don't do Holisa, Blessing Mandela, they don't do So, if you can't beef me, then I expect you to. But I tell you something. Those of you who think, say, we are free from the colonial grip. Who tell you, say, we are free from the colonial grip? We are not free from the colonial grip because those I mentioned, we are the people who try to separate us from the colonial grip. We no grip. We kill them. We are not free. Say, Oyibo no come now again, they buy us, they come out. No means say we are not slaves. We are mentally enslaved in our own house, in our own domain. I'll give you fact. Now listen, as long as Africa builds business centers and name them after Englishman or Frenchman, we are still slaves. As long as Africa builds hotel and name the hotel after French name or English name and name all the rooms after English or French address, we are still slaves. As long as Africa bears children, before the child bearing, we have already fashioned out English or French name for the child, we are still slaves. As long as Africa still value dollar and pounds instead of their local currency or one central currency, we are still slaves. As long as we use our money to build road and name the road after English or French man, we are still slaves. As long as our so-called Christians or Christian believers built church with their own personal money, hard-earned currency, and named the churches after Englishman, St. Stephen, St. Anthony, St. Bartholomew, St. Nicholas, were still slaves. So until now, go to India, go to China, go to Singapore, go to Taiwan, go to Japan, go and check their industries, their factories, their business centers, their hotels, their creations. Everything is created in their name and named in their name. They write in their own pattern, but in Africa, our pamphlet, our books are written in English. As long as we continue using English as a lingual franca instead of Africa getting a lingual franca for the whole of the continent, we are still slaves. So you politicians who have the leverage, who are in the corridor of that opportunity of recreating Africa into what it is supposed to be, and you are not doing it, you are responsible for the downfall and the problem of Africa. For those who try to mention, for those I mentioned, like the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Kambarek, Nyerere, Patrick Emile Lumumba, Samara Moses Michel, Ahmed Gabra, Ahmed Bembela, Muammar Gaddafi, who tried as much as they could to create one central Africa with one central currency, one central satellite dish, you people eliminated them. Today now, the ones we have now are corrupt politicians who have refused to understand the importance of Africa being one and having one currency, one life. Make una wake up and make sure that Africa stand like every other continent. We have all it takes to stand tall. So until this is done, politicians will continue to remain slaves for the rest of our lives. But we are not going to do it because Africa is grooming those who are about to take over and make Africa different. Our politicians, all of you who are religious leaders, come out one day, begin to speak against politicians. Say, politicians, we are sorry to have told people that Jesus can heal a pregnant woman that she will not die. Give us a perfect hospital, the way it is in abroad. Or even when we get church, they still get one of the best hospitals in the whole world. So why are they erecting hospital if they know say Jesus can save? But they carry that one and keep aside. Make sure say life supporting machine there for every human being in case of accident. Woman will get belly cannot die in pregnancy. Woman will get belly no fit die in labor unless the woman don't get bad condition before. You understand? If you get any sickness, they get solution to you. But here in Africa, they told us to Jesus.
One of my
And then our politicians, they pack, see Cameroon now. Go to Cameroon. Cameroon get two parts. That's as we inside one country. We get people who know they speak this language. Yeah. These other people they speak this language. And these people they speak English. And the people they speak French cannot cross paths. Meanwhile, we are one country. But inside one country, we cannot cross paths. The Englishman say, no, when I don't rule us too much. Yeah, the Frenchman say, no, now we get it. Exactly. Yet, Christian religious leaders stay inside that place, they watch those things where they happen. How many Christian leader has ever come out in Cameroon and say, enough is enough?
We are one.
Cameroon must come as one.
They will kill you as well.
They no fit. Instead now they go the religious leaders now go find way how to go and meet Paul Biya. They can give them small money. And then Paul Biya go give them money. The religious leaders will come outside and say, let us pray for Cameroon. Are you mad?
You see
pray for which Cameroon?
You see what he did on that? For my in-law.
Man, leave me.
For my in-law then.